Alright guys, we're on to part 4 of our mixing a live worship recording for Spotify and other streaming services and whatnot. So if you've missed the last couple videos, we've already gone through drums and percussion. In the last video we went through our room mics and our bass guitar and added some stuff in there. On this video we're going to be starting with our keys. So first we'll just kind of leave everything else we have in here and start bringing up some of the keys just to get a little bit of level set, and then we'll start adding some EQ and compression and go from there. I think that is just the synth bass that came in twice somehow, so let's get rid of that. We already have that. Somehow these all got made pretty quiet. I'm gonna bring up some of the gain just so we're not having to push faders super high. This is just like a generic pad. These piano octaves are doing some things in there, and then this is just the recorded grand piano. I'll bring that up a little bit. Let's see. Alright, let's start with this piano. It's sounding pretty good. It needs a little bit of brightness to it. Filter out the real low end, just so it's not fighting with the bass. There'll be plenty of low end coming from the bass and the synth bass, so we'll just clean up some of that low end. Alright, so that's already standing out a little bit better. Let's go ahead and add a compressor to this. I like the Puig Tech, which is an emulation of a Fairchild compressor. I set the time constant to 5. Yeah, so that's just kind of helping it sit a little bit more. It's a little bit more compressed, but that's kind of that worship piano sound is very compressed. We'll see how it sounds in with everything else. Let's go to the intro where this comes in kind of full. Alright, so here's kind of the piano octave part here. Let's get the SSL on there. So with that compression, that'll help some of it the initial attacks kind of fall back a little bit and let it kind of sustain out a little bit more. Let's make it a little bit of the top bright end. So we took out a little bit of the top end mids, but added in some of the air on this shelf here and compressed it, so that should sound. So that kind of helps it sit better with the other piano too. Pad, I'm not going to do anything to. That's a pad. Alright, so we got this like arpeggiated synth here. I think this is doing the same thing the whole time. Yeah, it's kind of got this like, it's more of a top end. Bring the SSL in. I like the top end of it, but the mids might sound a little kind of cheesy almost. Again, I'm just going to push this. Give it some more body. This might be a good time to bring out Soothe again. I feel like some of that is just a little too piercing. So you can see at this point when it's kind of lower, it's affecting more of these lower range here. And then as it goes up to this part, it starts to affect this a little bit more. Alright, and we'll probably take care of that with some automation to have that come down a little bit more in that part. Let's see where we're at. Alright, so this is kind of doing a similar thing, but in the lower ranges. So I'm going to push some of that mid-range with the SSL. Let that kind of stand out a little bit. And again, we'll give it some air up top. Let it compress a little bit to even it out. Filter out if there's any real deep low end. just looking at the RTA, you can see we have a lot of low end going on, but that's because we've pretty much finished the bass and the kick. Kind of missing some stuff in this area, which we'll fill in with the guitars and vocals. So I always just kind of like to check that out while I'm going along, just to make sure things aren't getting too crazy. If we were seeing a lot of that mid-range happening already before the guitars and vocals got in there, I might start cutting some of that out of the keys just to kind of help everything fit together, but it looks like we're in a good spot. Let's see what this keys 3 is here. This looks like it's just in the intro. Let's see. So that's more like a rhythmic kind of thing. I want it to kind of be a little bit more percussive and airy. There's already some guitar stuff and keys going on there, so we can kind of... Yeah, so I'm happy with that. It kind of sounds more percussive than it does in that lower mid-range area. Kind of pulled some of that out. Let's look at this last keys part here. This is kind of like a pulsing synth kind of thing. I feel like it's a little bitey or... Probably use Soothe on this guy too, just to kind of... So that just kind of lets it still be bright, but not stabbing your ears. So let's listen to all the keys together in kind of that bigger section. I'm going to run it through the MX EQ again on the bus. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of adjustments. I might push a little bit of 1K because I'm liking how that's sounding. I'm going to use the mono maker to mono out the low end, bring up some of the stereo width. And then we'll throw on that SSL bus compressor. so I think that's going to do it for keys. Sounding pretty good together. Again, we'll make more adjustments as we go on through the rest of the mix, but that's all of our keys. And in the next video, we will hit guitars.